Minecraft Java, Minecraft Bedrock. This is the fight of all time. I'm just kidding. We all get along. But those are completely different code bases. So what you have on Minecraft Java and what you have on Pocket Edition, those are completely rewritten games. And so sometimes you get differences in the various games. Well, in 1.15, they are bringing them together a little bit closer. So here are 8 features that were in the Pocket Edition, Bedrock Edition, and now are being brought to the Java edition. So here we are inside of a world, and this is a 1.15 world, and we have all of the various changes lined up for you. The first one is one that is a very nice quality of life change. So if you ever just placed down a bed and right-clicked on it, it obviously is going to tell you that you can only sleep at night. That is still true, but now in Java there is an added message, which is respawn point set. So even if it is daytime and even if it is not raining, completely clear weather, you can now set your spawn point immediately upon placing down your bed, which I absolutely love. Sometimes on servers, if we're ever to have a big PvP battle, then we would basically set down beds, and then either, hopefully, we would have a server admin to change the time to night, or we would wait around until it turned nighttime so that you could finally sleep in a bed. So that is very, very nice, that even if it's not nice, you can set your spawn point to wherever the bed is without waiting for nighttime to fall. Moving on, this is a small little feature that I really like, and that is that Redstone can now power bells. So if you have any type of contraption that wants to have a bell as an indicator sound, or maybe you're doing something with villagers and you want those villagers to head back to their rooms and beds, then you can activate the bell with Redstone. I've created a small little clock here to kind of just ring them over and over and over again, just to show that yes, now with the Redstone, you can just activate it however you want. And I was hoping that maybe, it'd be kind of cool if we could tune the bells, so we could have like maybe some Futurama, like dun dun dun, like some type of music sound or something. But sorry, no, and that's not possible quite yet. But you can activate them with Redstone, which is very nice. Next, the next 2 things that have changed have to do with commands. So now we have a do insomnia game rule. So this is the game rule that happens to deal with giving the player the insomnia effect sort of in the background. This is something that the player never really sees and as a status effect on their player, just walking around like you would with, like, say, hunger or saturation or strength or invisibility. You don't actually see it, but the game does remember that you have insomnia, and then if it turns nighttime, phantoms will spawn. So now you can decide to turn that entire game rule off if players are really annoyed with the phantoms that are spawning, or maybe you are making a map that doesn't want to deal with those phantoms. That's really nice. Next is do immediate respawn. I love this command because if you are doing any type of game, any server management where you want players to not have to look at the death screen, that they immediately go back to their spawn point, this will make things very, very quick. So I have a little command block here to kill me, and you can see what it looks like because I've already turned this game rule on. So if I click it, I am immediately placed back to where my spawn point is. It happened to be that bed. So you can see that there is no respawn window. I can show you what it looks like with the game rule off. So if I do that and click the same button, you'll see that I have the respawn screen here, and then I'd have to click respawn or go back to title screen. So with that off, it is a much quicker transition from death to being alive, and this is really useful for mini games and server management and just general ease of life sort of stuff. Moving on, these are 3 new commands that also have to do with the game rules, but this happens to deal with player damage. So you could turn off drowning damage, so you won't take any damage if you drowned. Falling damage, which I really like, because there's certain maps and servers that will stop falling damage because maybe you're playing in some type of game mode that just doesn't want falling damage. And then finally is fire damage. So now you can affect drowning, falling, and fire damage, which I really like. The next feature, we have to head into the Nether to check out, and that is that wet sponges, when placed inside of the Nether, will dry out now, which is I really love the animation and the particles that happen as you set these down in the Nether. Obviously, the Nether is super duper hot, and we've always had the features that you can't place down water of really any type inside of the Nether. So now, with sponges, if you place a wet sponge down, it will immediately dry out, which is really nice. And it's also the fastest way to dry a sponge. So I could see possibly some type of redstone creation that tosses items through the Nether portal and then collects them on the other side, places them down, I assume with a dispenser, and then somehow breaks them, maybe with TNT. Not exactly sure how that would work. You can see my sponges over here since I tossed it through that Nether portal. That would be super duper cool. That is just a little bit loud, so let's go ahead and break that portal there so we don't have to deal with it. Next, this happens to do with dispensers. Remember, we have dispensers and droppers. Droppers will drop the item, and dispensers will try to use the item to the best of their ability. And so inside of here, I have the firework rocket. In previous versions, if you fired off a dispenser, it would go up into the air just like this dispenser right here. But that wouldn't change based off of the direction of the dispenser. So if it was facing this way and you press that button, it would fire off into the air way up above. But now you can change the firework direction based off of the dispenser direction. So whichever way that dispenser is facing is the direction that the firework rocket will launch. So you can have some crazy, I don't know, this is like a Gatling gun of firework rockets, which is really cool, and took a long time to make all those firework rockets, so I hope that you appreciate them all firing off in different colors and whatnot. Very cool. So now you can change the direction of your fireworks. And finally, this is kind of the thing that started me on this path of parity, of finding out features that are in Bedrock that have moved on to Java. This is the normal composter. And the previous recipe was a little bit difficult to remember how to make this composter because you needed fences. And making fence, I always confuse fences and fence gates together with the crafting recipe. And so now all of that is much more simplified. You can take any type of wooden slab and you place it in the crafting table in this recipe, and you'll get the composter as a result. And this is how the composter recipe was on Bedrock, not on Java. And now it has moved over to the Java edition, and that is a welcome change. I really like that recipe way better than the Java recipe. So finally, what do you think of all of these changes? I want to know in the comments. Does it bother you that Bedrock Edition has been influencing Java Edition? When we first started off with Minecraft, it was only the Java Edition, and then the Bedrock Edition, and it was called the Pocket Edition back then, was secondary, and we would always get features on Java first. But I feel like the torch has been passed on to Bedrock, where Bedrock is the more popular version. More people play on Bedrock other than YouTubers, which is kind of funny. And now Java Edition seems to be getting a lot of inspiration from the Bedrock Edition. I do happen to know how they actually make the game. They basically decide on features, and one team gets half of those features and the other team gets the other half, and they develop them for the first time. And then after both half of the features are made, they swap and they have to copy what the other team has made. So when it comes to the Update Aquatic, the Coral was made by the Java Edition people, and then the Bedrock Edition people, coders, had to copy what they made. So that's how we got sort of some features that are different in others because they've coded them a little bit differently, and they're just trying to make everything fit together as if it was all one game that hadn't really changed all that much. What do you guys think about that? I want to know in the comments. There you have it, the features that were in Bedrock and are now in Java. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a big ol' thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights here on OMG Craft. See you next time. Bye.